It was supposed to be just another quiet evening. I came home late, exhausted, juggling my bag, keys, and phone, not really paying attention, just wanting to crash on the couch. I didn't double-check the door. I thought I locked it, but I didn't. And that one small mistake changed everything. I remember hearing a faint sound later that night. At first, I ignored it. You know how houses make weird noises sometimes, right? Pipes settling, floorboards creaking, normal stuff. But this was different. It wasn't a sound coming from the house. It was something moving inside it. That feeling in your gut when you just know something's not right? Yeah, it hit me all at once. I froze. I was alone. Or at least I thought I was. My heart was racing. I quietly got up, trying not to make a sound, and grabbed the closest thing I could use to protect myself, which honestly was just a lamp. I took a few careful steps, and that's when I saw it. The door, slightly open, just a few inches, but it was enough to know I wasn't imagining it. Someone had been here. Or maybe still was. And then I saw the shadow. Not outside. Inside. I can't even explain what went through my mind in that moment. Shock, fear, confusion. It all hit me at once. I didn't know who he was, or how long he had been there, but I knew one thing. This wasn't a random break-in. It felt personal. How did he get in? What did he want? And more importantly, was he still watching me from the dark? I didn't have the answers yet, but I was about to find out. The hard way. I stood completely still, staring at the shadow on the wall. My mind was racing, trying to figure out what to do next. I didn't want to make any sudden moves. I didn't know if he had seen me yet, or if he was even still in the room. My breathing felt loud, too loud, like it could give me away. Every little sound suddenly felt amplified. The ticking of the clock, the hum of the fridge, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. I slowly backed away, trying to stay quiet. I was still holding the lamp like it was some kind of shield, even though I knew it wouldn't help much. My phone was in the other room, on the charger. Great. Of all nights, I left it behind. I considered running for it, but I couldn't risk drawing attention. Not yet. As I waited, barely breathing, my mind started going back to earlier in the day. Had I noticed anything off? Anyone following me? I couldn't think of anything. Everything had felt normal. But now, that little mistake, not locking the door, was replaying in my head like a warning I had ignored. I remembered something else. 2 days ago, I got this weird knock on the door. Not like a normal knock. It was soft, like someone testing if I was home. But when I looked out, no one was there. I thought maybe it was kids messing around or a delivery gone wrong. But now I wasn't so sure. Maybe this had been planned. And then there was that message I got last week. Just one sentence. You're not as alone as you think. I had laughed it off, thought it was spam or a random troll. But looking back, it suddenly felt more like a warning than a joke. Was this all connected? Was someone watching me this whole time? Waiting for a moment like this? Waiting for me to slip up? I moved a little closer to the hallway, heart pounding harder with every step. The shadow was gone now, but that only made it worse. If I couldn't see him, I had no idea where he was, or what he was planning. And then I heard it, the faintest creak behind me. I spun around so fast I nearly dropped the lamp. That creak, it was right behind me, like someone had just stepped on the loose floorboard near the kitchen. I stared into the dim hallway, trying to see something, anything. But there was nothing. No sound, no movement, just the stillness that suddenly felt too still, like the whole house was holding its breath with me. I didn't know if he was toying with me or just moving silently, but the fear was turning into something else, a kind of sharp awareness. My senses were on overdrive now, and every shadow felt like a threat. I kept thinking, how did I miss this? How long has he been inside? It wasn't just about a door anymore. This felt personal, like I was being watched long before tonight. Earlier that week, my friend Sarah had joked about me being too trusting. I had told her I liked keeping things simple. No cameras, no alarms, just old school locks and gut instincts. She'd rolled her eyes and said, "You're the easiest target on this street." I laughed it off then. Now, her words echoed in my head like a warning I should have taken seriously. I started thinking about the stranger I saw outside the building last weekend. He wasn't doing anything specific, just standing there near the edge of the sidewalk, staring up at the apartments. I noticed him because he didn't seem to belong. No phone, no smoke, no dog, just standing there. I even made eye contact for a second. He looked away immediately. Back then, I told myself not to overthink it. But now, I wasn't so sure anymore. Was he the same person who was inside now? And then there's the other weird part. Over the past month, I kept misplacing things. My keys ended up in the fridge once. My bedroom light would be on when I knew I'd turned it off. I figured I was just tired, distracted, overworked, but maybe it wasn't just me. Maybe someone had been testing the waters, slipping in, observing, waiting. I was piecing it together too late. Whatever this was, it had been building up slowly, and tonight I finally gave him an opening. And now he was somewhere inside my home. I didn't know where to move next. Every part of me wanted to bolt for the front door and run, but something told me it wasn't that simple. What if he was between me and the door? What if he was waiting for that exact reaction? I stayed low, back pressed against the hallway wall, listening for anything. Breathing, movement, footsteps. But the silence was like a trap. I had to make a choice. Stay frozen and hope he left, or start moving and risk making noise. My gut told me I couldn't just wait. Whoever he was, he got in quietly. That meant he knew how to move in the dark. He was careful, intentional. This wasn't random. I took one step toward the kitchen. No creak. Another. Still nothing. I was halfway to the corner when I saw it, the faintest light under the pantry door. It shouldn't have been on. I never even used that light. My heart sank. Someone had been there. Maybe still was. Suddenly, something moved. A flash of motion near the back hallway. It was quick, like a shadow darting past the open doorway. I stopped breathing. That hallway led to my room. And my phone. My only connection to help. I needed to get to it, but every part of the house now felt like a trap, like he had already mapped it out and I was just catching up. I thought about yelling, but I didn't want to let him know where I was. Or worse, make him panic. If he felt cornered, things could go sideways fast. I remembered the small mirror on the end table. I grabbed it carefully and angled it around the hallway corner. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely hold it straight. For a second, I saw nothing. Then I saw a shoe. Just one. Black, heavy, like a work boot. He was standing still, too still, like he knew I was watching, like he wanted me to see him. I pulled the mirror back slowly. My mind was screaming at me to run, to hide, to do something, but my body wasn't moving. I felt trapped in my own home. A place that used to feel safe now turned into something cold and unfamiliar. And then I heard it, my phone buzzing, a call. It was coming from my bedroom. I had left it on the nightstand. The ringtone was soft but sharp in the silence, and it echoed through the hallway like a signal. A mistake. Whoever was in that hallway heard it too. I heard the floor creak. Heavy steps, slow and deliberate, heading toward the sound, toward the room, toward my only chance to call for help. I moved then. I didn't even think. I just ran the other way, straight toward the kitchen, hoping to grab something, anything I could use. The panic had fully taken over now. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew this was the moment everything was about to change. I grabbed the heaviest object I could find, a cast iron skillet from the kitchen counter, and held it tight with both hands. My heart was hammering so loud I was sure whoever was out there could hear it. The house felt smaller now, every corner filled with shadows that seemed to move on their own. I barely noticed the cold sweat running down my back as I took cautious steps toward the back door, my only real escape. Then something stopped me dead in my tracks. A voice, quiet, low, and just behind me. It wasn't a shout or a demand, more like a whisper, almost too soft to hear. "You don't have to be afraid." The words sent chills down my spine. It wasn't the voice of a stranger. It was familiar. Too familiar. I froze, the skillet slipping slightly from my grip. My mind scrambled to place it, but the panic was clouding everything. Slowly, I turned around, keeping the skillet raised just in case. And there he was, not the shadowy stranger I had imagined, but someone I knew, someone I never expected to see tonight, someone who had been in my life before, someone I thought was gone. "Why are you here?" I managed to whisper, voice trembling. "I thought you were out of my life." He stepped closer, hands raised as if to show he meant no harm, but the tension in his eyes said otherwise. "I didn't want to scare you. I came because I had to." I blinked, trying to understand. This was the last person I thought would ever be inside my house, especially without permission. My mind raced back to all the weird signs I'd ignored, the knocks on the door, the strange messages, the misplaced things. Could it really have been him all along? He sighed deeply and looked away for a moment before locking eyes with me again. "I tried to warn you," he said. "There's someone else, someone you don't know yet, someone who's been watching you long before tonight." My stomach twisted. This was getting worse, not better. If he was here and telling the truth, then the man I had seen in the hallway might not be the only threat. The danger was bigger than I thought. Suddenly, the house lights flickered. The power cut out, plunging everything into darkness except for the faint glow of my phone still buzzing somewhere upstairs. The silence after was heavier, filled with unspoken fear. I realized I was completely alone in the dark, with more questions than answers. "Who's watching me?" I asked, voice barely above a whisper. He hesitated, then stepped closer. "It's someone from your past, someone you never saw coming, and they're closer than you think." The air felt thick, the walls closing in. Every sound now seemed amplified, the creak of the floor, the distant hum of the street outside, the pounding of my heart. I wanted to believe him, but I also wanted to run away, to lock every door, to forget this nightmare. But I knew I couldn't. Not yet. Not until I found out the truth. As the darkness swallowed the room, I gripped the skillet tighter, heart racing like never before. The man I thought I knew was standing just feet away, his eyes full of urgency and something I couldn't quite place. Regret? Fear? Before I could ask, a sudden noise made us both freeze. A sharp click from the front door echoed through the house, followed by slow, deliberate footsteps approaching. "That's him," the man whispered. "The one who's been watching you." I felt my breath catch. How had he gotten in? My mind flashed back to the unlocked door, that small mistake that set everything in motion. The danger wasn't just inside my home, it was closing in. Without warning, the lights flickered back on. In the sudden brightness, I saw the figure in the hallway again, but this time, the truth hit me like a punch. The shadow wasn't a stranger at all. It was someone familiar, someone from my past I never expected to see. The man beside me stepped forward, tension breaking in his voice. "You need to know. He's been hiding in plain sight, closer than you think." My eyes darted to the figure now fully visible in the hallway. It was my neighbor, someone I had trusted, shared casual hellos with, never once suspecting the darkness behind his calm face. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way," my friend said quietly, "but he's dangerous. I've been trying to protect you." Suddenly, the neighbor's expression twisted into a sinister smile. "You're both mistaken," he said coldly. "You think you understand the story, but you don't." Before I could react, he lunged forward. The room erupted into chaos, shouts, crashes, the sound of the skillet hitting something hard. I felt a sharp pain in my arm, but kept fighting, driven by pure survival instinct. When the dust settled, the neighbor lay unconscious, and my friend held my arm steady, eyes scanning for any other threats. "It's over," he said, though I wasn't so sure. Just as relief began to wash over me, my phone buzzed again, this time with a message I couldn't believe. "You never really locked the door." I stared at the screen, heart sinking. The real danger? It wasn't over. It was just beginning. I dropped my phone onto the floor, staring at the screen like it was some kind of trap. "You never really locked the door." Those words echoed in my mind, twisting the whole night's events into something I hadn't fully understood until now. I thought I had made one small mistake, the unlocked door that allowed a stranger inside. But maybe the mistake was bigger than that. Maybe I'd been careless in ways I hadn't noticed, or maybe someone had found a way in without me even realizing it. My friend helped me sit down, gently wrapping a cloth around my bleeding arm. "We need to call the police," he said quietly. "This isn't just about one person breaking in. There's more going on here than you know." I nodded, finally feeling the weight of everything crashing down, but also relief. Relief that someone was here to help, that this nightmare was at least partially over. The neighbor, now unconscious on the floor, was evidence of a threat I never saw coming. I thought I knew my own neighborhood, the people around me, but sometimes danger hides in the most familiar places. The lesson was harsh but clear. Trust, but always be cautious. I thought back to the little signs I had missed, the odd messages, the misplaced items, the mysterious knocks. They weren't just coincidences or forgetfulness. They were warnings, signs that I should have listened to. If I learned anything, it's that safety isn't just about locked doors or alarms. It's about paying attention, trusting your instincts, and never ignoring that quiet feeling that something isn't right. My friend stayed with me until the police arrived, ready to tell everything he knew. I finally called my family to let them know I was okay, though I knew things wouldn't feel the same for a while. This experience changed me, made me realize how quickly life can shift from ordinary to dangerous with just one small mistake. As the officers took statements and secured the house, I took a deep breath and looked around. My home felt different now, less safe, but somehow more mine. I would be more careful, more aware. And I knew that even though this chapter was closing, my story wasn't over. Life had its surprises, and I was ready to face whatever came next. Sometimes the smallest moments teach us the biggest lessons. And that night, I learned that safety is never guaranteed, but awareness and courage can make all the difference.